Let's see how to edit the connections of a model in CYPE 3D. To do this, we open the Joints menu at the top of the interface and click on Edit. Then, we select a connection or group of connections by left-clicking on them. The program then opens the connection editing window. First of all, we can activate the top box to type in a reference for the selected connection. Further down, on the left, we find the list of components involved in the connection, and in each one, the Edit option to modify them. A three-dimensional view of the connection is displayed in the center. Each component shows its reference and the section so they can be identified. In the left column of this viewer, there are controls for managing the visibility of the elements in the connection. There are also options for modifying the projection and projection type, as well as the different tools for rotating and sectioning the view. At the bottom, a list of the connection's incidents is displayed. Among the possible warnings, the program will notify if the joint has not been defined, if there are definition errors in any of the components, or if no errors have been found. The program will also display a warning if the project is not analyzed. At the top of the viewer, there are options for designing and checking the connection, as well as obtaining its details. On the left, two features allow us to undo and redo the changes in the connection components if we have made any. With Design, the program automatically generates the necessary components in all elements of the connection in order to meet all code checks. To specify the connection method, we indicate all with welded connections, all with bolted connections, or we define a specific method for each element. For the connection elements, we can use the defined configuration for the job or use a specific configuration for this node. In this case, by clicking on Options, on the right we define the parameters for the bolts, stiffeners and base plates. Below, the program displays the available joints modules acquired in our license. We can click on any of the links to consult the collection of connections that are analysed with each of the modules. We click on Accept to carry out the design. The program asks if we would like to view the complete report of the assessed checks for all the connection elements. This detailed report can also be obtained by clicking on the Code Check button at the top of the viewer, which is used to verify the connection elements as they are defined at that moment. In the pop-up window that appears after clicking on the button, we can select each of the connection elements in the left column. Then, at the top right, the checks performed on that element are listed, indicating in their status whether or not they have been verified, and the zone in which they are located. By clicking on each of the lines, we obtain a detailed report of each check in the viewer at the bottom, including a reference of the code and the progress of the analysis. This way, we can consult if there are connection elements that do not meet some of the checks. In this case, we can modify them and check the connection again. At the top right, we can view the complete listing of the connection. Using the corresponding options, the information can be shared, exported in different formats, or printed. The following option allows us to obtain a complete report of the node. It includes the detailed drawings of the connection, the description of the joint components, and the code check summary tables. In the same way, this information can be shared, exported in different formats, or printed. Further to the right, the detailing option allows us to view the detailing of the connection. The layout of all the connections can be obtained later on by printing the drawings. Here, we can print the current view if we wish to obtain the information directly in different formats. If we don't want the program to make any modifications to the connection when using the design option again, we can click on the button available at the top right to block the connection. If we wish to unblock it, we click on the padlock again. Finally, once we click Accept, we return to the general interface of the program. The connections will be drawn in different colours depending on whether or not they comply with all the checks.